Hey there everyone, Luke here. Now before I get into the review, just want to say something very quickly. So similar to what I was doing on Control Chaos with Total Drama Island with Tyler, we started watching through a new franchise. It is Ben 10. We're going through the whole of the Ben 10 franchise, and again, it's a franchise that I have never seen before. I've known a little about it, like the basic premise and setup, but aside from that, didn't know anything about what I was getting into. And yeah, so far, first impressions, I have been enjoying it. Looking forward to find out more. I'm very interested in the Kevin character and also the Grandpa Max. Very interested to find out more like what Max actually knows, because he's obviously got more than he's letting on, and also what's going to happen with Kevin. Very interested to see where they go with his character. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say, my initial thoughts on Ben 10, and then after Ben 10, probably going to look at Avatar. That's probably the series that we're going to be looking at, which will be a reverse, because it'll be, I've seen pretty much everything from the Avatar franchise up to this point, except for the live action. I did know clips from the awful movie, but yeah, Tyler has not gone through the whole of the Avatar franchise, so it'd be interesting to see a flip of the switch of like, yeah, something I know and I'm familiar with, as opposed to what he's familiar with. But that's all I wanted to say. So look forward to those when they do come out. But yeah, let's just dive right into the chapter. Okay, so this will be chapter 229, titled Psych. Okay, I don't know whether this is like a play. I mean, it is pretty much just play on like, yeah, psych, just kidding, just wasn't sure for a moment that if it was like meant to be a play on the word psychic, but no, it's more like psych, got you there. So anyway, the chapter starts off with basically from the end of the last chapter where we have everyone scattered around, they all know what their battles are going to be. So we have Alex and Hugh Lang going up against, and Kazu going up against Shinzo and Keigo, which is going to be like what takes up the first half of this chapter. And then we've obviously got Futaba going up against Ni, and then we have Shion and Nanano going up against Yo, and then obviously we have the fight between Koricho and Kai still going up, but. So yeah, that's where everyone is, just getting everyone up to speed on that point. And then we also have Tayu going into the Behemoth to actually face Asa, as they say that. Oh, we activate conflict in 5 locations. We have active conflict in 5 locations, while Tayo has successfully infiltrated the enemy ship, and they're all like, okay, Roger, and good work so far. We're a few minutes behind schedule due to some stubborn tailing, but things are still going to plan, which, yeah, every time somebody says that, yeah, there is something that is gonna go incredibly wrong. Like, we all know, like, that's a cliche waiting to happen, and this also goes to a thing like people have been misinterpreting about a certain tweet that was set out that, yeah, the final arc is picking up pace, and a lot of people are to be like, wait, are they going to run through it quickly? Now, personally, I don't think they are. I just think like, okay, we've got the initial setup going on, now we're getting into the big moments in the arc, which would make more sense. Like, the action is ramping up after this chapter. So yeah. Because in this chapter, the second half is like a sit down between Asa and Tayo, and it's just like, it's the calm before the storm, essentially. So yeah, we continue on with Hugh Lang and just Keigo being like, wait, Master, what are you doing here? As she has again the whip and the skin tight and the leather skin tight combat suit here, as we get the caption of just being like central walls. Shinzo and Keigo versus Kazu and Alex and Huglan, and Huglan's just like basically, Keigo, you left too much of your surprise. You let too much of your surprise show, and stay closer to your dummies. If you forget even the basics of disguise, I'll beat the memory back into you before we see her using her whip. Like, it's literally it's an extended whip that just basically goes all around, tries to attack Keigo and Shinzo with incredible force. Like, it sends an aftershock wave, but Shinzo and Keigo are just able to dodge right away, and then you just see like the aftermath of just like the attack as well. It's like it just goes and then it's just like boom, boom, boom. Before Shinzo goes on, says, "Oh, this must be seawater. This obviously has seawater." And Hyuglan says, "Oh, Mozu and the others are pumping water in on the lower level. Stay inside and drown, or try to escape and be picked off at the surface." So you've got a choice there. You either stay and drown, or try to escape, picked off at the surface. But of course, we know the Yozakura is like, they're gonna have a third option here, and Keigo's just like, "Okay, why are you even doing this?" As Shinzo's just like, "I've had enough of this," and just sends out a barrage of, I assume they are dummies. Like they're either rocks or the dummies. It's kind of hard to make out here, but basically. They're just like, "Yeah, we're not going to let you have this," and yeah, you're telling us to either stay in and drown or try to escape and be picked off. Choose. But being the Yozakura, they're choosing the third option, which is like you try to close everything off here. Like, you're trying to close off the attack that we've been using, and yeah, Alex is like, "Yeah, I'm not going to let that happen," as he basically throws the attack right back at Shinzo. So he basically is like, "Oh, you're using an attack to block off our attack. Yeah, not going to let that happen. Have it right back at you." So yeah, even though Alex is psychotic, yeah, that was a pretty effective move that he did there. So as Alex is complimenting Shinzo on how he's updated his Yokon so it can transform on a set delay, Shinzo is just basically asking the million-dollar question, just like, "Why even doing this? Like, wasn't it for you if you joined forces with Asa here? But not just you, but Hyuglan too. Like, why even doing this to Keigo? Keigo respects you, and then you go and do this to him." And Keigo at first is just looking as if like he's really upset. Just be like, Master, I'm really upset. Like, how could you do this to me? How could you do this to me? You've turned to the dark side. You were the chosen one, and everything. And at this point, you just see Shinzo getting like really pissed off here, but at least like a really comedic moment, which is a reference to the title. Like, Shinzo's just there, like, "How dare you? How do you have any idea of how much pain and suffering Keigo is going through here? He is just an innocent boy here, and I'm his big brother. I'm supposed to have it like just imagine like him just rambling on like that at the two of them. Like, look what you've done to poor little Keigo here. He's crying his eyes out, and it's all because of you two." But then Keigo's just like, so like he was wearing a mask of his crying emotion here, and as Shinzo is in the middle of just like his barrage of just being like throwing insults at them, you just see him like, huh? And then you just see all of them just giving like the blanket expression of just like, what is going on here? Before Keigo's just like, "Oh, I'm fine, like really fine. I'm not flaunting or anything like that. Yeah, you surprised me, and I've never been able to figure out what you're thinking, Master. But you never once ever betrayed any of your students, so this can't be a betrayal. So that's why I was just pretending to cry, pretending to think like, oh, you made me upset and everything." And she's just like, "What are you even talking about? You do realise she just attacked us, Keigo, and yet you're saying like this is not a betrayal." But Keigo's just like, "It's a matter of who was first in line. Master's a very mature woman after all." "Yeah, I bet you think that, Keigo. You obviously, yeah, Keigo obviously wants to do it with you, gang. Like, and hey, can't really blame him. Skin tight leather, whip there. Yeah, I can see Keigo. I can see Keigo going to be with her. Yeah, I can see that. But this leads into, yeah, many people might not think this as like one of the creepier moments in the chapter, but just hear me out here. Just hear me out here. So we see him bringing up a lot of masks here, as he says, long before you got involved with the Yozakura family, and I mean long, long, long before, you were already connected to Asa, right? As you see Hugh Lang's face as a mask, but also Asa's face as a mask, and yeah, my god, that mask of Asa's face that Keigo has, that might be the most creepiest, pants-wetting stare that he could have ever picked for Asa, and yeah, that is the face you're going to be seeing in your nightmares. It's on, what page is it on? Oh, crap, I can't even get up the page number. Yeah, I can't get up the page number for it. But seriously, go on, read chapter 229. Get to that point with Asa's face as a mask, and yeah, just don't tell me that is like not one of the creepiest things you've ever seen in your life. So yeah, Keigo goes on and says like, after Hugh Lang says, keeping calm and offering a logistic analysis. So Hugh Lang saying all of this, that, oh, I approve if this were, I approve of this. If this were class, you would have earned 3 head pats by now. And Keigo's just like, there, just smiling, but just giving the smile, just like, yeah, I know. Before they go on and say like, oh, what will you show me? Shall we fight using material means? And Keigo's like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm 20% and I'm 20% dead, so let's do this a different way. I'm going to use the power of observation that you taught me to figure out what you're really about. And by observation, he means going to activate his blooming, because you see his blooming being activated, so his assimilation blooming is going to be him being able to gather all the information. It's like, okay, why did she do this? Like, what brought her into the presence of Asa? As Hulan's just like, if that's so, I hope you can do it. Well then, let's say you begin with your final lesson. So yeah, we're getting the start of this battle of Shinzo Keigo versus Kazu, Alex, and Hugh Lang. So really looking forward to that. Like, looking forward to finding out like what Keigo's blooming is going to be doing. Like, analysing all 3 of these and figuring all 3 of these people and figuring out like, okay, this is what's made them tick. This is why they've joined Asa. Well, obviously with Kazu, we know that's the case because he's a child of Asa. So yeah, but yeah, it will be interesting to see like, okay, what does Kazu want to get out of all of this, and how can we provide the necessary situation that will be like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to be with Asa anymore, because I guarantee that most of Asa's children is going to turn against him by the end of all of this, or if not, they're probably all going to be end up being assimilated back into Asa at some point. That is just something I can guarantee that I'm pretty sure is going to happen. Like, they're either going to turn against Asa or they're going to have to join back with Asa by being like, yeah, your life forces are useless to me, now I'm going to be taking back everything from you. So yeah, you guys are all dead. Because Asa doesn't give a shit about his children, and yeah, or he only cares about himself and claims to be like, I'm benefiting mankind, but obviously he's doing this because it's like, yeah, I want my research to keep going because I'm a psychopath. So anyway, speaking of Asa, we're now getting into the second half of the chapter between Asa and Tayo, which is always good. You always love a good main character, main villain standoff. Now, what's very interesting about all of this is that, and I didn't notice this until someone actually pointed this out on Twitter, or it was either Twitter or Discord, but somebody pointed this out, that Tayo doesn't speak in this chapter. It's all told through his facial expressions. Like, Asa does all the talking here. So it's kind of like a situation where between like Sasuke Aizen and Ichigo, but in a much more control, because Tao is very much in control of his emotions, whereas Ichigo, I feel like could break at any moment. But yeah, so it does seem to have that very similar standoff here. So we have Tao just barging into the room as we see a cherry blossom tree just sprouting, as Asa is just sitting at a table with one chair next to it. So yeah, it's going to be like a sit down between the main character and the main villain, as Asa's like, Tao, have a seat or stand. It's your choice. Don't really care. I suspect you've recognised the cherry blossom tree. This is Momo Yozakura's dreams blooming. His bloom is unique and therefore deserving of use. Thus, for convenience sake, I'm keeping him alive. So yeah, Momo is still alive. It's still alive, although the fact that it's in quotations, like air quotes, it means that, yeah, he's on the, yeah, he is still alive, but maybe it's just like the essence of him is still like his brain is no longer functioning and he's only being kept alive by this tree and his blooming. That could be what Asa is actually meaning here. That I'm keeping him just enough alive so that he's technically not dead. Like the phrase, there's a difference between being all dead and mostly dead. Momo is mostly dead at this point, and yeah, you just Tayo's face is just there, like just giving like the expression of just being like, you are sick. You are one sick individual, Asa. As he could, yeah, and the reason why I compare it to like Solskjaer Asa is just because of the tea as well. It's like, oh, would you like a cup of tea, Tayo? As he says, you didn't encounter any security, let alone traps, on your way here, correct? These aren't any. They aren't necessary. Anyone who sets foot inside this ship, I almost imagine like Asa just having this like calm, like Eisen or Johan voice, just being like, anyone who sets foot inside this ship is immediately put under the sway of the illusion, or that's the way it typically goes. So yeah, he's basically saying like, oh, I didn't need any traps, I didn't need any security because this the dreams is all an illusion, and since you've entered it, you are under spot. Like, oh my god, the eyes in comparison to Asa is like just straight on nose here. But yeah, he continues on by saying, but while you all came close, none of you actually came inside. It's almost as if you knew what to expect. The only one who did enter was you, the one who Subumi's blood protects from the power of dreams. If my suspicions are correct, and then we get like the creepy eyes there. Like whenever Asa does these creepy eyes there, it's like, oh, you know, like, oh my god, some shit is about to go down here. And he reveals that, oh yeah, I know the curveball here because I know Momo told you about all of this and he gave you the bullets that's residing in your pocket right now. This is the last part, Tayo. Yeah, as we get the message of just like, oh, this last part, Tayo. Me and Ria are entrusting it to you, and it's the plan that we've built because we know about Asa, we know how deadly he is, so this is like the trump card that you're going to have if you want to take down Asa. As Asa explains that it was made from Momo's bones and his heart, and it's a bullet, and the bullet is Subumi's power in physical form. Depending on how it's used, it may even break past mine and Subumi's immortality. So it's basically like a silver bullet for a werewolf. Like you shoot the silver bullet, the werewolf gets killed. It's kind of the same thing here. So yeah, that crack that Asa's face, like I don't think that's a vessel pop. I think it's just like, okay, his face is cracking away. He's at some point gonna have to regenerate his body, but I think Tayo shooting that bullet is gonna have an impact. Now the question of me is that, are the kids gonna get involved here? Because a lot of people are like getting really worried that Tayo is not going to be able to complete this part of the mission and the kids are going to have to get involved, which, yeah, I can understand. I really can understand why people would get mad at it. And, yeah, okay, here's the thing. We can have the kids still involved in the battle, but Tayo has to be the one to take Asa down. Tayo and Koricho have to be the ones to take down. Like, they can give them the opening to take Asa down, but at the end of the day, it's going to have to be Tayo and Koricho versus Asa. That's how it's always gone. If it was any other way, if Tayo wasn't the one to get like the final blow in on Asa, I'd be kind of disappointed because Asa not only has damaged his own family, has not only damaged his own family, like the Yozakura, which Charles is now a part of, but he like overarching, like kind of responsible for where Tayo is at this point in a roundabout way. So yeah, Tayo not getting the final strike, I would feel like incredibly disappointed. But this is also going to lead to what Asa might actually do to Tayo, what the negotiation might actually be for Tayo, and whether or not Tayo will be swayed by it will depend on what it actually is. But me and Pyjams do have an idea of what it might actually be. So yeah, to round out the chapter, Asa continues his monologue of saying that, though I doubt that's your only option, yet Tayo must have backup for backup for backup, but at the same time, Asa probably already has backup for backup for backup too. Tayo's backup for backups. It's all about the 4D game of mind chess that's going on here. And I do like I said, I do like these like standoffs that the main villain and main antagonist, main villain and main protagonist actually have in any form of media. Like you just love a great old fashioned like standoff between the two opposing factions, like the two basically high ups of the opposing factions here. Yeah, he even says here, like, I have countless methods of taking you and the others into custody. So yeah, like, we've all got backup plans for backup plans for backup plans here. And considering how you haven't pounced on the chance to try one, I must assume that you've met with her as well. Now, we don't know exactly who her is, but a lot of people are having some ideas. And I had to okay, somebody... okay, I remember this character, like, somebody did point it out, and I did look it up, but I'm trying to remember the name of the character, but you'll know, I'll know when they do come back. But yeah, it's basically the Go Right Spy that was at the meeting that was in the sleeping bag. Like, I'm sure Pyrogens will be able to tell me what their names are. But yeah, it's when they all had that first meeting together when Rachel disappeared, and it was the person in the sleeping bag. But yeah, anyway, people expect that to be her, or it could, yeah, it could be her, or it could be somebody else entirely. We just don't know yet. But Asa goes on and says, by my estimates, if we were to clash right here and now, all that would result in the Yozakura family's destruction. So yeah, they're kind of at a bit of a stalemate here. Just like, yeah, you want to kill me? I know, and I want to get used, but if we decide to clash, then all our plans go out of the window here. Before we attempt to harm each other, give me a moment of your time. Like, here, have a cup of tea as well. From one who wishes the best for the Yozakuras to another, allow me one first and final attempt at negotiation. As Tayo takes a seat, stares down Asa, and that's where the chapter ends. So, yeah. First half was just the setup, but the second half, like, really got into, like, okay, yeah, these two, like, this has been a fated meeting between Asa and Tayo since the time, like, this is the first time they're seeing each other in person, face to face, since the pre-time skip stage. It's like the last time that they met each other was when Asa came to the house to get Sabumi. Like, this is the first time they're seeing each other in 5 years, face to face. Now, this is what this is the part where I was getting to what I was alluding to what me and Parjas were discussing, was that Asa is probably going to do the same thing that he did with Tayo, which is that he's probably going to say to Tayo, look, I know a way to bring your family back here. I can resurrect them, I can revive them, and you want your old family back, don't you, Tayo? But I think Tayo's just going to be like, Tao's probably going to be like thinking, and he might even contemplate it. He might even get to see the benefits of that. Like, yeah, my parents didn't get to see me get married, and they haven't had a chance to see their grandkids. My brother hasn't a chance to meet his niece and nephew, or any of his brothers and sisters-in-law. So maybe something like that might be beneficial for me and my emotional state. But at the same time, he's going to be thinking at that point, like, yeah. That trick may have worked on Kai, but it's not going to work on me because I have a family. The Yozakuras are my family now. I am Tayo Yozakura. Tayo Asano, was brought into family, but now I'm Tayo Yozakura. And I feel like that's going to be a great moment for Tayo to just be like, yeah, even though it would be nice to have my original family back, I already have been adopted and I've been accepted as a part of the Yozakura family. I'm a Yozakura through and through, so that trick is not going to work on me, Asa, so you're going to have to try something else. I feel like that's what's going to happen. Like, Tao might contemplate, but at the same time we'll come to realise, like, no, I do have my family. I have my wife, my kids, and I have my brothers and sisters-in-laws. So yeah, I do have a family, and you're not going to take that away from me. You're not going to do what Tampopo, what Moa, what everyone that's just been pounding on this family, pounding on my family and the Oscar family. You're not going to take anything else away from us. We're going to take you down once for all, right here and now. And then this will probably lead into like, oh, you think that's going to happen really simply? Yeah, nope. And I can see Mutsumi getting kidnapped, like, as well. Mutsumi and the kids and maybe Ayaka and I, like, they all get kidnapped and they all get taken away somewhere, possibly back to the Yozakura mansion, you never know, because I really do want the final battle to be back at the Yozakura mansion, because it will bring the series full circle. Like, we start the series at the Yozakura family mansion, we end it at the Yozakura family mansion, but yeah, that'll probably come a little bit later on. We've first got to get through all these battles here, but I feel like while we'll succeed at some of these battles, I feel like Asa will be like, okay, I'm going to retreat, take these, and get out of here, and there'll be a second part to this final stage. Because yeah, this is going way too fast, way too quickly, way too easily for the Yozakura. Something is bound to happen, but the question is, what will happen, when will it happen, and how it will happen. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.